Hello, tenors, baritenors, and baritones. This is the continuation of our series on agility. We're doing one of my favorite exercises today. We're getting into the videos now. We're doing a lot more singing, a lot less explanation, so I'll be brief. In this exercise, the challenge is not so much the singing of the notes. I'm reasonably certain that most everyone will be able to sing the pitches without any issue. I'm going to go a little faster than I have been. But the real challenge in this exercise is at the tonal onset when you begin the phrase, and you will be successful at that tonal onset by retaining your expansion and engagement when you recycle the breath. In other words, in the spaces between the notes that you are singing. Yeah, basically that's it. There's not much more to it. Thank you if you've chosen to subscribe. I really appreciate it. A big thank you to my Patreon supporters. And those of you who have become members on the channel here on YouTube, thank you. I really appreciate the support. When we sing this exercise, we're going to start it with only 2 interstitial breaths. So it'll sound like this. Take a breath there. Take a breath there. And then we'll move on to the next key. In context, it'll sound like this. And then we'll move on to the next key. We're going to do a couple different areas so that it's comfortable for everybody. We're doing sets of 3, so 3 keys at a time, because we always want our technique to be really fresh. We want to do this with a lot of energy. So we're going to start here. And just take a brief pause. Relax for a second. Maybe roll your shoulders. It's easy to get tense in the neck with these kinds of exercises, so just release a little bit of that tension. Allow yourself to release here too, and let's get back into it, moving on from there. And again, just a brief pause. The next 3 key areas are going to bring us right just over the top of each of the Fox respective primo passaggi. So into the zona di passaggio, but not like up against the secondo passaggio, not up to the break. So no worries there. But do be aware of that. You're going across the primo passaggi in this next set of 3. And for the next sets of exercise, we're going to insert a few more breaths into the exercise. This challenges us to retain that expansion and engagement and still get good tonal onsets. This is because every time you take a breath, the vocal folds open, and then we have to readduct them to get into the next phrase. So we're going to go ever so slightly faster and insert that additional challenge into the exercise. Listen for any inconsistencies in your delivery. If you hear vowels that change color or things like that, note them and then explore them further. You might go back to the previous set, trying it with less breaths in the exercise, and see if there are any differences. And that will tell you a lot about how you're retaining engagement in the pauses. At any rate, the additional breaths happen at the end of each short phrase. Take a breath there. Take another short breath there. Short breath there. Short breath there. And then you have the space in between key areas. Only replace what you use with the short breaths. We're not taking breaths because we need them necessarily. We're taking them as a way to challenge ourselves. It's also good practice to just take little top-up breaths too. So in context, it'll all sound like this. And so on and so forth. And again, short breath. Short break. You can take a short breath too, but we're going to take a short break. Relax, roll your shoulders, release some tension. And one more short break. Once again, we're going to be crossing into the zona de passaggio, not up to the secondo passaggio, but just getting into that zona de passaggio area. And we're going to do one more set. We're going to do the middle set because I think that's probably the set that's in the sweet spot for most of us here. I might actually tweak it a little bit so we do E flat through F. And you go. As I said before, I am reasonably certain that nearly everyone who watches this video will be able to easily sing those notes. That's not the most important part of the exercise. I know it sounds a bit funny to say that, but it is the tonal onsets and the spaces in between, specifically retaining your engagement in those spaces so that each subsequent tonal onset is nice and balanced. If you think about it, when you sing a song, you are doing tonal onsets all over the place every time you take a breath. Sometimes after consonants, if you're re-articulating a phrase or wanting to give some definition to a long phrase that has a lot of vowels in it, you might choose to do a re-articulation in the middle of it. Those are all types of tonal onsets. Retaining your balance from one to the next will give you so much more consistency in your singing voice. And this is one of the ways that we can practice that. So I hope it helps. Thank you so much again if you have chosen to subscribe, and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Appreciate the support. And once again, those of you who have joined me as members here on YouTube, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. All the support and all the different ways that it comes in is greatly appreciated. Thank you. And until next time, take really good care of your voices, enjoy singing, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.